Hey, good evening. Welcome to the stream. So tonight, as you probably know, I've got a very special guest with me tonight. It's Kasra, who is someone I met at Affiliate Gathering in York, which, wow, how long ago was that now? Over a month ago now. And yeah, I was blown away by everything that he's about, really. He's got a huge portfolio of websites, been around doing SEO for quite some time, and shared some really important tips and ideas. So really pleased to have him tonight. If you've got any questions, do just stick them in the chat, and I'll do my best to get through as many as I possibly can. Let me just quickly say a few hellos to the Eaglers in the house. We've got Daniel in. Mike's here. Good to see you, Mike. Hope you're well. And then, of course, we've got Carl as well. And Gaz and Helen are here. Phil's here, who's coming out to Spain tomorrow because it's the WP Eagle event here in Estepona. And wow, I've looked at the weather. Tomorrow looks like it's going to be 37 degrees. So if you are coming, make sure you bring some sun cream, and yeah, just expect it to be quite warm. Who else we got in? We've got Joe, we've got Justin, we've got Karen, Kevin's here, Lawrence is here, No Code Dad, founder, host, SMB and DFY newsletters. Wow, that is some name you've got, No Code Dad. We've got Page Marketing. Sue, of course, is here to moderate and keep an eye on everything. Diego, Thieves of Kenya, and Zach. But I think without without any more intro, let me bring Kasra in. I'm going to do a quick transition and then he should appear. Hey, Kasra, you're on. You're
hello,
live.
hello. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. So I think we should start with the introduction. For those people out there that may not be aware of you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Kasra Dash. As Alex mentioned, I have got various digital portfolios, websites, rank and rents, affiliate websites, link building agencies. I have also recently invested in a SaaS tool to do with AI content, and I'm sure we'll probably cover that in this video.
We will, yeah. Good. Okay, well, let's go back to the beginning. How on earth did you get into this crazy world of making money online via websites and other things?
Just by accident. I originally started off as a web developer many, many years ago. And essentially, my brother, out of all people, introduced me to someone that wanted a website. Fast forward 4 or 5 months. It was a big e-commerce website, hence why it took so long to actually build out. I essentially built the website out in 5-6 months, got paid, happy days. And then he comes back maybe 1 or 2 weeks later, the business owner, and says, "Hiya, Kaz, where's the sales?" So that's how I essentially got into SEO.
Yeah, as they always do, they expect you just build it and they will come, but that doesn't always work, does it?
Not necessarily. No, it
never works.
Not necessarily. Yeah. No, never.
Okay. Let me just do a quick couple of questions. Do you have a YouTube channel?
I do, but I don't actually publish anything. I'm most active on Twitter.
Yeah, the best place to find Kasra is on Twitter. There is a link to his Twitter in the description, and he tweets lots of very useful and interesting things. So, okay, so someone you built a website and then you started doing SEO, and then so when did the thought cross your mind that instead of building websites for other people, that you might start building your own websites and doing SEO on your own sites?
So I actually, after that first website, I then transitioned to working at an SEO agency, just as a full time web developer, and I basically saw like the amount of money that is actually in SEO. So after that, I was doing a lot of masterminding, a lot of networking, and I met a lot of my business partners now.
Yeah,
One of my business partners was already doing a lot of ranking rents and stuff like that. So we kind of essentially teamed up, and together we've got about 650. But I always say this to SEO agency owners. Like a lot of the guys will ask me, like, I'm an SEO agency owner. I've got, let's say, 25, 30 SEO clients. What should I do now? How can I essentially maximize ROI for my business? And I
yeah,
always say, like, you need to get into ranking rents because let's say, for example, if you've got 100 SEO clients all paying you a grand a month, so you're earning 100K. Um, what you should be doing on top of that is, say, for example, you are working with a cleaner. Why not build him a website that you can essentially rent out to him?
yeah.
It makes perfect sense. You've already got the client. He's already paying you for SEO, so he understands that digital marketing is important. So it's just another bolt on to essentially upsell your pre-existing clients.
Yeah, and it's obviously an easier sell. So just to clarify what a rank and rent is, you might build a website, say for office cleaners in London or something like that, that then starts to rank for those terms, and then you'll find some office cleaning companies in London and say, "Hey, I've got this website. It's coming up first page of Google for all these keywords. Do you want some of that? You pay me a fixed amount, and I'll put your business on that website." Is that how it works?
Exactly that. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly that. So, for example, we will have a sit down with a cleaning company, and we might say to them like, "What's your most profitable keywords?" So they might say, for example, office cleaning, or it might be domestic cleaning, whatever it is, and we will essentially try and rank that a website for them in that area. Now, the brilliant thing is that it's our own asset, so we can upload our own photos, or we can essentially communicate with the business owner and say, "Hey, we need free videos, or we need these photos," and we will essentially do the SEO. But the good thing is, it's our own website, so there is an asset value.
yeah. And the client is happy as well because they don't have to worry about all the SEO details and all that kind of stuff. All they know is that they're going to be getting, or leads ultimately. Um, so when you sell it, do you kind of promise that there's going to be a certain level of traffic, or what are you actually promising when you sell it to the client?
So it very much depends. Like for example, some more lucrative industries such as finance, that can obviously take a little bit longer. So we don't ever promise anything. But one thing that I should highlight is that our whole agency or our whole rank and rent model is based off of like a no win, no fee. So we might essentially invest 5, 10K into a website, and it might be going through to a cleaning company and they might never end up essentially winning anything. So
Yeah,
in some cases, like some people will look at that and be like, oh, that sounds a bit dangerous. But it's all about how the leads are worked. So what most likely happens is we'll probably build out a website, it'll start generating some inquiries, but the business owner might not be as efficient when it comes to actually replying to the leads. So we might have
yeah,
a sit down with the business owner and say, listen, if you get a lead at 4 p.m. on a Tuesday, you can't be phoning that lead up 5 days from now because by
it's gone
like
cold. Yeah, it's worthless. Yeah,
yeah, it's turned into a cold lead. They've probably found another cleaner. They're gone now.
yeah, yeah,
So we essentially put in KPIs for the business owners a lot of the times.
yeah. That makes perfect sense. So I've got a couple of questions that I want to go through just from the viewers here. So we'll just go through them in order. So you do have 600 plus sites. How on earth do you manage and keep on top of that number of sites?
Um, a lot of stressful days.
You obviously have a team around you, I guess, to help.
Yeah, no. I do have a really brilliant team. I think if you are scaling past even 5 websites, it's very much impossible to keep up to date with all the Google algorithms, every single content update, links update, building links for all the websites, uploading content. You do need a strong team around you, and I'm lucky enough to say that I do.
So the team is the key. Um, there was another question. Out of interest, was Kasra's first website a success?
No,
Most of our first sites are a disaster.
no. The thing is, I've said this on multiple podcasts now. You need to be failing in SEO. The more times you fail, the quicker you're going to learn, and you're not going to repeat that mistake. So, for example, there's guys out there that I know that would have completely tanked their website with a load of GSA back in the day, like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like that doesn't work now, but obviously they've come a lot wiser over the years, and they're like, right, okay, I'm not going to spam 6,000 links to my website because that Google doesn't like that.
So you just, as with all things in life, you have to fail in order to learn really and move forward.
Yeah.
Same applies to SEO. So you mentioned some of these techniques that people used to use in terms of spammy links, that kind of thing. In terms of SEO nowadays, what does it really boil down to get a site ranking well on Google?
Topical authority, so making sure you're covering the topic in its entirety. I actually done a tweet on this today. And then also making sure that you don't. So when I say topical authority, what you'd never want to do is just do 10 subjects in one topic and then do a couple other articles on another subject. Just completely box off one subject at a time and make sure that all the links that you are acquiring or building are on point, and then once you are happy with that subject, then move on to another subject.
Okay, so it's basically become an authority. So it comes down to really good authoritative content, really, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
You
I
can't
don't I
just,
don't know if you I don't know if you remember this, but when I was at affiliate gathering, somebody asked when I was on stage, like, should I avoid some SERPs or some results pages that have the Daily Mirror or the Telegraph?
yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that
So
question, yeah. I remember your answer
essentially
as well.
what I said there was making sure that topical authority, like, you have got to be beating these bigger websites. Like, for example, the Sun, if they're talking about the best air fryers, they're not going to be talking about all the accessories for air fryers. So go
Yeah.
and do a page on all those, because that's super important. And once you essentially win on the topical authority of best air fryer accessories, so there might be, let's say 15 different accessories you can write about. That's when your main website or your main page, best air fryers UK or best air fryers US or whatever you're trying to rank for, that's when it will essentially pop.
Makes perfect sense because these, even though they have like high authority sites like The Sun, they cover a huge range of different subjects. So they have no authority on any particular subject.
Exactly that.
Yeah, they have a domain authority for news and stuff like that. But when you go deeper into a topic, you then become the authority. Question here: did you build all your sites from scratch? Use a team to build them, or buy some of them? I think he's touched on this in terms of a use as a team. But I guess you buy sites as well, do you? Or?
So we do have a business where we buy tanked websites, so websites that have absolutely been smashed, and we essentially recover them. If that's what he means. But then on the other question, do I build my sites? For the longest period ever, I used to say I'm the only web developer you'll speak to that's not built a website in the past 24 months. It's probably
Okay.
more than that now. So I have really good systems in place. I've got a really good team. They follow the systems. If something's not wrong or if something breaks, that's when I might look at something and be like, oh, right, okay, this SOP might need tweaking here, or we might need to hire a graphic designer or whatever else.
Yeah.
But I don't build the websites
So
myself.
you don't really get your hands dirty anymore. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Perfect. So going back to the question here, going back to client stuff. So you're charging these clients $1,000 a month. How much time? This is from Diego. How much time per month per client do you take to optimize for SEO on average?
So that completely depends on like how how much they're paying us and what industries there are. So, for example, cleaning might be cleaning in London. It might be a big job, but cleaning in Macclesfield, which is or cleaning in Bedford, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be a lot easier to rank for than cleaning in London. So it all comes down to budget. So for example, if somebody's paying us 15 grand a month, they're going to get a lot more loving and care on their website as opposed to somebody that's paying us £500 a month.
Yeah, makes sense. Um, we're going to go on to AI in a minute because I know your new product is around AI. But BJ asks, what are your views on Google AI integration into search? Now, this is something Google have been teasing for a while, that the SERPs are going to change and have an AI box at the top. What are your thoughts on that?
To be quite honest with you, I've not really focused much on it. I know that obviously there's going to be free AI answers at the top. Um, I I'm just looking at it from Google's point of view of how are they going to monetize that. So, for example, if that's all the way at the top, Google's main moneymaker is PPC. So
Yeah.
where's the PPC going to go? Or for example, if you're doing PPC for your GMB, where's that going to go? So again, I personally don't have a view on it. I'm probably not the best person to ask on it
But
because I've not
you
done
don't think
that
it's going
much
to shake up
research.
everything as much as everyone's maybe fearing?
Um, it, I think that it's probably. Do you remember when they first announced featured snippets and everybody was like, "Oh my god, I'm going to lose so much clicks,"
Yeah, no one's going to
etc.,
click through
etc.
from Google anymore. They'll just head over to Google.
Exactly. It's going to be kind of similar to that. I feel. If
Yeah,
anything, if there's going to be free spots, you might be able to rejig your website because it still says where it's sourced the information
yeah.
from. So you might have actually more clicks through to your website. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to change anything too much. And as you say, Google's monetization is through ads, whether they be on the search results page or also on everyone else's websites. I mean, whether you're running Ezoic, Mediavine, or anyone like that, the bulk of the ads are still managed by Google AdWords or Google Ads. So it's not within their interest to keep all the traffic on the SERPs. Going back to the team, where are you finding and how are you training your team?
So one thing that I have found over the years. So all my team's based in the UK. We have several offices throughout the UK. We have Manchester, Newcastle, etc., etc. But we personally always hire apprentices, and we don't hire like SEO experts because 9 times out of 10 they come with an attitude.
Yeah,
I'm sure that there's a lot of SEO experts out there that if we did hire them, they would be fine. But from my experience over the years of actually hiring staff, when you hire someone that's been working at an SEO agency and he has been brainwashed into thinking that buying links is completely illegal and the police is going to come and knock at your door, it's going to be a little bit difficult in training them to build links, right?
yeah.
Or for example, like we've had people in the past that we've interviewed and they said, "Oh yeah, if you're writing about that certain subject, um, you can only publish one article a day," and it's like, according to who?
Where do
Like
these obscure
what?
rules come from? I mean, who? Yeah,
Yeah, so like some of the trained SEOs come with their own set of rule books, so
they
that's
come
why
with
we
baggage. Is
tend
that what you're
to.
saying? Yeah,
Yeah, so we personally tend to hire apprentices. I mean, we have a really really good training in house. So if, for example, we're training somebody to write content for us, or if we're training somebody to, I don't know, create images or whatever it is, we have like an inside training module where we can say, right, for the first 6 weeks of your job, go and watch these 18 videos and read these two guides, and you're set then. So yeah, that's our hiring process.
perfect. Right, let's go through a couple more questions, and then I want to talk about AI because it's a topic that I'm particularly fond of, and yeah, I want to talk about it. But before then, let's just go through a couple of these quick questions. Daniel asks, niche sites or authority sites? So I think what Daniel's getting at there is, do you go for these highly focused websites or do you go for these kind of broader sites? Because in theory, I guess a niche site and authority site could be the same thing.
Yeah. So it's a really good question by Daniel. I would say both, and I'll explain my reasoning. So a lot of our bigger websites started off as niche websites and then they've grown into authority websites. So if we take gambling for example, if we partnered up on a website today and you're like, right, let's focus on gambling, I might say, right, okay, let's break that down into just talking about slots. Let's
Yeah,
cover slots in its complete entirety, all the different slot games, all the different slots providers, all the different slot softwares, all the websites that you can play slots on. So there might be Bet365, William Hill, etc., etc. Let's
yeah,
cover that in its complete entirety. And then in 24 months' time, or however long that takes, I might say, right, Alex, let's build out the sports betting side of the website, because that's still gambling.
yeah,
And then what that might take, let's say, another year, and then we might say, right, okay, we've done sports betting, we've done casino, or we've done slots. Now let's do casino, because casino is completely different to slots. There's
yeah.
poker, there's
So these are all kind
all
of like
sort of there's
siloed within the main site, aren't they?
exactly
That yeah.
exactly that.
So I
So
guess yeah, I've got a couple of questions on that. Sorry to carry
yeah,
on. Finish what you're going to say.
no, so basically, back to who was it
Daniel,
that
yeah,
asked the question? Daniel. So yeah, back to what Daniel was saying. So niche site to begin with. Once you have covered that niche or that sub niche in its entirety, then try to build it into an authority website.
yeah. But that also, if you're going to do that, you want to keep in mind, I guess, the domain names and things that you go for. You don't want to have something too specific, like you don't want bestslots.com or whatever, because as you say, you're probably going to expand out from slots in the future anyway. So something maybe more general. And just touching on the niche you mentioned there, gambling. Now that is a very controversial, but also very competitive niche. Those kind of
Yeah.
niches, they don't really scare you. No, you're happy to jump in somewhere that you know is going to be a lot of work. So how would you approach these kind of niches because generally when people are looking for a niche, they want to go for something low competition. They want something that they can maybe break into quite easily. But something like that, I'd imagine, is highly, highly competitive. And you mentioned finance as well, which again, I'd have thought is highly competitive, but also highly lucrative. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, very very good question. We always have an ongoing joke in the office where, like, I think there was a list of like the most difficult niches to rank in. And I think it was either published by Matt Diggity or Matthew Woodward, or so. It was a couple years ago, and me and my business partner at the time were looking at the list, and I think it was like the top 15 list. And out of the top 15, we had websites in like 9 of them, and we were just
Wow.
laughing like, why do we do this to ourselves? We could easily just go and rank for cleaners in Bedford. But
Yeah.
why are we trying to rank for gambling phrases? Um, I personally like the challenge. I have always been quite a competitive person growing up.
Yeah.
So gambling is always, it's kind of like a game to me. So I'm like, right, okay, we've dropped free slot or free positions. What can we do? Like it's hyper competitive gambling or CBD as well, pharma, any of those niches, even finance, like what you mentioned, anything
Yeah.
like that, super hyper competitive. But I just love the competition. And not only that is when you crack the code or the algorithm and you're like, oh, this works on gambling, you can essentially scale it back down to your cleaners in Bedford website, and
Yeah.
nobody in Bedford's going to be doing stuff like that. So
I guess you're right. If you can rank a site like that, then and you can rank any site. But of course, there
yeah.
are other problems with those kind of things because aren't Google particularly cautious of sites that talk about CBD or talk about finance or talk about health or talk about gambling?
So yes, you are right, but one thing you need to do by law is, for example, if you're in gambling in the UK, there's obviously a UK Gambling Commission. There's all these different commissions, and if, say, for example, you have a out of date T's and C's on one of your affiliate offers, your website can get like not hit, sorry, but your affiliate account for, let's say, Bet365 can get shut down because you are non-compliant.
Okay.
So in gambling, in CBD, in like just fitness as well. To be honest, like anything in health, your money, your life,
Yeah.
you need to be massively compliant. Otherwise, you will very quickly get shut down by your affiliate accounts, and people just won't want to use you. So I'll give you another example. So there's white hat gambling, or there's three different grades, right? So there's white hat gambling, which is like all the brands that we know. So Bet365, William Hill, Betfred, etc., etc. But then there's the grey hat guys, and then there's the black hat market, or the black market. So if you're doing gambling affiliate for the white market, you can't be seen also having the grey market and the black market on your
Near
website,
that
because
stuff. Yeah.
they'll boot off. So like the black market, they're like, for example, I personally would never gamble on the black market because you need to pay them using crypto, and you might not get your money
Okay,
when
so
you
these are
win.
casino sites that are not regulated and just use crypto.
Yes, so like
Yeah.
we do not touch any unregulated gambling sites. I personally just don't like the sound of it. It
No.
just sounds extremely dodgy to me. But for example, if you're seen on your website, let's say alex.com's a massive gambling site, um, if you're advertising on alex.com, bet365, and then you go and advertise this black market gambling website, bet365 is going to be like, Alex, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Like,
we don't want to be
don't
seen with
do
that
that.
those guys. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of things that you need to be very, very careful of,
Yeah. I didn't even know
especially
there was
in
black
those
market
niches.
gambling.
Yeah.
Why would people want to play on those sites?
Higher return to player value. So, like, say for example, if you're playing slots in the UK, they've got all these regulations now. So, previously, if there was like, let's say, four different slots, or sorry, four different reels, you were able to like spend £100 per reel. So, for example, if I was to do one click and if I was to lose, that's £400 lost, right?
Wow.
It just like that. But then the UK are basically they're trying to stop like gambling addicts, so they've lowered that spend amount, and I think they can only spend like £10 per reel now, so you can only lose £40 per click. But all these grey market and black market gambling sites don't need to oblige by UK gambling
So you can
commission and
bet
stuff
whatever you
like that.
like. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly, but like we tend to stay away from, well, we definitely do stay away from all those.
Yeah. Understandably. Okay, let's get through some of these questions. They're coming in quite quick. The classic question: would you recommend affiliate sites in 2023?
Yeah, definitely.
It's not all doom and gloom. It's
I
not all dead. I mean, every year SEO's dead, affiliate marketing's dead, niche websites are dead. It's all dead.
if I got a pound for every time I've heard SEO's dead, I'd be a millionaire. just from that alone. No, yeah, definitely. Like affiliate websites are, if anything, I don't know if you've seen any of the multiples and stuff like that you can actually sell affiliate websites for, but
Yeah.
every year it's actually going up. So I think when I first got into affiliate marketing, I believe the multiplier was like 8 or 9. So
Wow.
if say for
Okay.
example your website's earning £1,000, you could get £8,000 if you were to sell it.
Yeah.
Now I believe it's probably about 16, maybe even a
Sometimes
little
goes
bit.
more 30,
Yeah,
35. I've heard. It's not unheard
yeah.
of.
Again, it depends on the industry. It depends on the type of like
Yeah.
affiliate deals you have. Like say for example, if you have an affiliate deal which is giving you reoccurring money every month. So if I was to sign Alex up to, for example, Grammarly, and he gets the Grammarly premium package, and it's £100 a month, and I get £50 a month from that, I would, that gambling,
That's
or
higher
sorry, that
value, of course.
affiliate
Yeah.
website is a lot higher value. So yeah, picking your niche is also super important as well.
Yeah. Actually, there was an add-on question to that from Unrealbot. So in that case, what should be the ratio of information and affiliate articles? So I guess that's, articles that have got more product and affiliate links in against articles that don't.
I'm going to say something really controversial. I think that that's a bit of a myth. And
Okay.
by a bit, I mean it is a myth. So, for example, if it takes you 60 informational posts and I don't know, 200 sales types posts to cover the topic in its entirety, then that's what you need. Like, there's not a magical
Ratio.
formula there's not a magical formula where I'm like, right, okay, you need 654 informational posts to 224 sales types posts. It's not the case. Just cover the topic in its entirety.
If you need
Become
an article,
an
you need an
actual.
article. I've just recently
Exactly.
sold a site that was one that I didn't do a lot of work on, but it was about pressure washers, and that was too tight a niche for a start. But there was an opportunity to do an article on both. So, how to clean a driveway with a pressure washer. Then you could also have another article on the best pressure washers for cleaning a driveway. They could kind of be next to each other and they would complement each other, and it was perfectly fine. So forget that ratio. Diego says, where on earth do you host all your websites?
On a lot of different servers. I believe we probably have 20, 25 different servers. Yeah, it's all over the place. Yeah, it's literally from like some of the servers are hosted with my server guy that's based in Manchester, and some of them are just on like various different places like SiteGround, etc., etc. There's nothing special to it. The hosting.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, let's do a couple more questions. No Code Dad says, I built 26 insurance websites at the same time with one main website as the owner rental point. All instant DR9 and then the main hub DR50, all ranking for insurance. Is that normal in 90 days?
Yeah, DR can be gained massively. I actually done a tweet on this, I think maybe last week or the week before. DR is the everyone assumes DRs is what Google looks at when it comes to ranking your website. I don't know I'm not certain what the Twitter @ is, but there's a guy on Twitter that I believe it's something along the lines of like low DR, high traffic. And all he does is he makes tweets about low DR websites that are absolutely crushing it. So DR is massively skewed metric. It's a good metric to look at if you're combining it with other things as well, like how many actual keywords has that website got. But again, it shouldn't just be the only metric that you're looking at. And just to answer your question, DR, like there's multiple gigs on like Fiverr and Legit and stuff like that can essentially boost your DR to like DR60 in 28 days and stuff like that. So just be wary of certain stuff like that. But it's not out of the ordinary.
No. Yeah, don't want to focus too much on your DR. Is my audio okay now? I think I was getting a bit of echo. I was a bit quiet and I've turned it up and I got some echo. Is it okay? Good. And I don't think the camera's focusing on the plant anymore. Hopefully. Okay, let me just do a couple more questions and then we'll talk about AI. Can you give me... this is from Kevin Stats. Can you give me an example of about how many articles would cover a small, medium niche? Are we talking 100, 500, thousands? That's a very open question.
I'll go back to my... Yeah, it does depend. I'll go back to my air fryer example. Say, for example, you wanted to rank for best air fryers, right? You would obviously want to talk about every single thing possible. So, for example, air fryer accessories, what like the actual different accessories. So I've actually done a post on this today. This is why it's so fresh in my mind. But some of the stuff like that ChatGPT came back with, it was like a pizza rack for the air fryer. So all those little intricacies, like the little tongs that you can use for air fryers. So having a page for every single thing like that is super important. I can't give you an exact number.
There is no number, it does depend.
725 articles to cover a medium-sized topic.
Yeah, it depends.
Not
as you say,
that.
The more you keep digging, the more opportunities you find for content.
Exactly.
You think, there's someone searching for what's the best tongs for an air fryer to take a pizza out of it, or whatever. There's so many different... There's an infinite number of things people are searching for, really.
Yeah, definitely. One other thing as well is, like, for example... there's a lot of products that will come out throughout the year, and if you're not covering that, so if I was to say, okay, you need 300 articles, by this time next year, you might need 365 articles because there might have been 65 new televisions released or 65 new phones released or something
Yeah.
like that. So yeah, it's a never ending battle, to say the least.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. I get these questions all the time, and I understand why people want to ask these questions. They want the kind of the black and white rules of everything. How many information articles should I have? How many posts do I need? And Mike's got one here as well in terms of talking about SEOs having their own rules. Do you have any views on the ideal number of words per post? There isn't any black and white answers for any of these questions, is there?
No, so like, all right, okay, I could give a half answer to Gadget Mike. I would just correlate to what's on the SERP. So if 10 of your competitors, say you're trying to rank for law firms in New York, right? And you look at all the top 10 results, and you say, right, okay, the average of the top 10 results 7,500. You might want to do 7,800 words. So again, you can do certain stuff like that. Obviously, making sure that your content is factual and it is up to date as well. That's super important.
Yeah, makes sense. Talking about SEO rates, Envy, he's an SEO in Denmark. He charges $900 for 8 hours, and he's cheap. How are rates in your countries?
Again, that depends on like the industry and stuff like that. One thing I will say is if somebody in the gambling industry came to me and said, I want to spend £1,000 on SEO with you, I would just laugh and be like, no.
That's not going to work. Yeah,
it's not going to work. Again, that's not to say that it won't work. So like there's a massive misconception of, oh, gambling, you must be spending 25 million per month on SEO, and it's not the case. Like with a lot of affiliate sites, you've surely seen this yourself. The first, let's say, 6 to 12 months when you're actually growing the website, that's probably when you're actually investing the most money in. But once you actually have the rankings, and when you're in maintenance mode on the website, that you might actually lower the spend. So you might not be publishing as many articles, or you might not be acquiring as many links or buying as many links. So again, it very much depends on the industry. One thing I will say is SEO agencies in London. I personally don't know an SEO agency owner in London that charges lower than £2,000, which I believe would probably be about $2,500, give or take. So yeah, it depends on location, it depends on the client, it depends on the industry.
Yeah. I mean, talking about money, Gaz here is asking, what are your main income sources? Are they from your sites, Ezoic, or I guess you're bigger than Ezoic, maybe Mediavine and other ads, or is it Amazon, or is it other affiliate? I'm guessing it's a mixture of all of those things, is it?
Yeah, so I don't know if it was you that I was speaking to at Affiliate Gathering, but I believe I am probably the least tech savvy with AdSense. So like there's guys talking about AdSense, and I'm like, oh, I've never done that before, or I've never heard of that strategy. So I do a mixture of everything. I do rank and rents, I do not Ezoic, Google AdSense, which I probably should be doing Ezoic because I believe that they pay out higher.
Yeah, they do.
Again, I could be completely wrong, but a lot of the money that I earn is from affiliate and from rank and rents. And like I this is one thing that I actually did want to cover on your podcast, because a lot of people don't understand that I'm getting, say for example, 5,000 clicks on a website, but I'm earning, let's say, 20,000 in a year on that website. And they're like, how are you getting this amount of money from 5,000 clicks? Like, there's no way you're doing Google AdSense. And then sometimes they're really arrogant and they're like, no, it's bullshit. So let me explain. So the biggest way that I earn money is through rank and rents. And a lot of the times I actually end up investing into the company. So say, for example, Alex is a lawyer and I'm like, Alex is a really good lawyer. I might actually invest in his business. I might just have a sit down with you and say, hey, since I've been doing rank and rents with you for 2 years, how is about I do all your digital marketing and you give me 20% of your business, I'll happily invest however much he wants for that 20% of his business. And then I essentially bolt on the Rank and Rent website. So, for example, the Rank and Rent website might start earning me per job that he closes. So, if it's a personal injury claim that he closes, it might be a £6,000 kickback that you get, and I might be able to earn 3,000 off that website, which I would reinvest back into the website. So, it's very much down to how you're monetizing your website just outside of SEO. A lot of SEO people or a lot of bloggers do, again, like they're not that business savvy, or a lot of the ones that I speak to personally. So when they see numbers like that, and then I sit them down and I'm like, right, okay, this is what you need to do, this is how you do it, this is how you monetize it. Don't just do affiliates, don't just do Google AdSense. Like, if, say, for example, you've got a pressure cleaning website, why don't you create a couple location pages and try and rank it for pressure cleaning in Bedford, and try and sell the leads to the pressure washing company? Because that's another avenue that you can essentially monetize your website.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned selling leads. That's different from Rank and Rent, yeah? Isn't that slightly more tricky, because you send some pressure washing company some leads, and they have a terrible sales department who say don't follow up the leads for a week, and you're sending and then they come back to you a week later and go, these leads are rubbish, and I couldn't close any of them.
So when I say selling leads, like, I do typically just rent out the website. I personally don't like the selling leads model.
The pay-per-lead kind of thing, yeah, because that then relies on them to do something.
Oh, not only that, is let's say, for example, you are a lawyer and I'm sending you personal injury claims, right? Somebody might fill out the contact form and fill out as Mickey Mouse, and you're paying me £100 a lead, and you're like, Kaz, what the hell's going on here? I'm not paying for that. And that's when clients just boot off. So I typically just rent out the website. I'll have a 3 or 4 month period where I'll revisit the website, and I'll say, oh, this website's tripled in the amount of inquiries. Can we have a sit down and renegotiate the actual rental that you're paying?
That makes perfect sense. Okay, let me go through a few more questions. Yeah, I've just put a giveaway up. If you want to win some WP or merch, we need to hit 88 likes. So how many we got? There's about 70 of you watching, so I think we could probably do that. Right. I want to get to AI, so I'm going to have to. I may not be able to get to all of the questions. Okay, yeah. Quickly, keyword research. What's the best method? This is from Page Marketing.
For a brand new website, I highly recommend zero search volume. So, for example, everybody's using tools like Ahrefs, everybody's using tools such as SEMrush as well. What you want to do is, I don't know, there's multiple names for this. I call it the Google alphabet soup.
Yeah,
that's what everyone calls it.
Yeah.
Like, I believe some people call it like the Google auto suggest method as well. But like, just going down based off of, like, if it's in the auto suggest, there is certainly some search volume to it, and not 9 times out of 10, if it's in the search or the drop down, sometimes it's not in Ahrefs as well. So that's the method that I use on brand new websites.
Makes perfect sense. I think that's the best place to start, and you don't also then have to pay out for any of these expensive tools like Ahrefs or SEMrush. Lawrence asks, have you got any experience with pragmatic SEO? First off, can you just explain what you understand pragmatic SEO to be? I'm not pragmatic even. Programmatic SEO.
Programmatic SEO. Programmatic SEO is, for example, websites such as Yell, where they'll have like 200-300 pages, or again, another example would be websites that cover WordPress error codes, and they're just answering the question. Yell's another example where it's like they've got, I don't know, 6 million, they've not got 200 pages, they've got like 6 million pages, and all they talk about is hairdressers in Bolton, hairdressers in Manchester, etc., etc.
So are those pages kind of auto-generated or something?
Yeah, so they're all auto-generated. From my experience, again, with that, the best strategy would be to start small and start growing. So, for example, if you are trying to do programmatic SEO, from a locations point of view, if you are trying to do for the entirety of the UK, what I would be looking to do is filling up each town. So, for example, hairdressers in London, accountants in London, lawyers in London, just fill up the London silo and then move on to another town. Again, I'm probably not the best person to ask on that because I've not done many websites like that.
No. Okay.
There's a lot of case studies and stuff like that on Twitter.
Let's move on. Aleem asks, how do you protect your affiliate websites from Google updates? Now, of course, in your past and maybe even nowadays as well, you have sometimes maybe done some SEO techniques that have worked well, but maybe not 100% what Google is looking for from SEO. And I guess you've been hit many a time by different Google updates. Are Google updates something you worry about? Do you actually think about protection from Google changing its mind every now and again?
So I think if you don't want, or if you want to minimize being hit by Google algorithm updates, you need to be very, very open-minded. So sometimes you might go to a networking event and somebody will say, "Oh, have you tried this SEO method?" And you're like, "No, I've not." And I don't want to because it sounds weird, right? But if you actually have an open mind and you actually test it out and you're like, "Oh, actually those links that guy told me at Affiliate Gathering did work. I wonder why that's worked." Like you just need to be very open-minded. Like a lot of websites that have been hit, I personally think they've been hit because they've stuck to one rigid SEO strategy that they might have learned on a course that might have been working 4 or 5 years ago, but it doesn't work now. So that's what I would say when it comes to like just trying to minimize risk.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Talk about creating websites. Do you use WordPress?
Yeah.
And do you use any SEO plugins?
Rank Math. And Yoast on some websites as well.
Okay. Do you buy backlinks for your customers and maybe for yourself? I'd imagine the answer is yes.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the easiest way to build links? I guess it is because you're trying to do it. A lot of people try and do it themselves, and I think that's what really gets them stuck on moving forward with their website. They try and do outreach and all that kind of stuff themselves, and it's unless you know what you're doing and are consistent and persistent, it's quite hard work, isn't it?
One thing that I will recommend to everybody that's watching is that SEO is all about speed. So if you are competing against me and Alex and we are building, let's say, 50 articles a month and we're building 25 links a month, we're buying 25 links and you're trying to manually outreach and you're trying to land.
You're just getting left behind, yeah.
Like you're just going to get left behind. And not only that, that's just month 1. Month 2, we're going to do the same thing. Month 3, we're going to do the same thing. And you're just getting 6 links in 6 months' time.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
There's a lot of things you can outsource and accelerate the process. Okay, I'm going to do 2 more questions and then I'm going to talk about AI because I don't want to keep Kaz here all night. Do you use schema? That's a technical SEO question. Yeah.
So I do local business schema, organization schema, business schema, and what's the other one now? About us schema and offer schema. Like, yeah.
Whenever you can, yeah, all of it.
I use all sorts of schema. But again, that's like schema isn't going to set the world on fire. So if you're in position 15 for a keyword and you add in schema, it's not going to jump you to position 1 over a little bit of schema.
Yeah,
so don't confuse that. There's probably a lot more things that you can do that's going to be more valuable for your time than just adding schema to a couple of pages.
Yeah, and it can be done fairly easily with things like rank math and stuff. And he also adds, does the date that appears in the SERPs for the last updated, is that important?
Not really. But one thing that I saw, I don't know if you've seen this, is that they're removing sitemaps, I think. Did you see that?
No, really?
So again, don't quote me on this. This was something that I very, very quickly was scrolling through Twitter. But I believe that what they're actually focusing on is instead of the frequency on your sitemap, they're looking at the last edited and published date as well of the actual post. Again, just double check that. Don't quote me on that.
Interesting. I will check that.
Yeah.
In terms of purchasing backlinks, I believe that your agency, FatRank, may be able to help with that.
Searcheroo. FatRank doesn't actually do
Okay.
any link building. FatRank's essentially kind of like a mindset blog.
Okay.
So that's a blog that, like, say for example, if myself or James, my business partner, wants to rant about something, we'll load up FatRank and
Okay, that's
we'll
your
do a
content
blog
site. So
post.
Searcheroo, I'm just going to add that to the description of this video. Searcheroo is your SEO agency, right?
Link building and content. So we mainly do deliverables. We don't do any SEO to say. Everything that we do is just like, here's your backlinks, or here's your guest posts, here's your niche edits, here's your tier twos. That's what we do.
So yeah, you want some link building, go there. Because Kevin asked, he hasn't had any great results so far. I mean, try out Searcheroo. Okay, last one. Interesting question for Baz. What is your strangest niche? I don't know what he means by strange, but
I don't have any strange niches because but one thing I will say is I have a interesting niche, to say the least. So we had a dentistry website, and people are probably thinking, well, that's not a strange niche, but dentistry in the UK, because obviously everything's like NHS funded, we thought it's going to be the best niche ever. We're going to be millionaires sipping pina coladas on the beach in 12 months' time. Built this website and it starts generating inquiries, and we're like itching our head, like, why is this not earning any money? Why do dentists not want to work with us? So we obviously do a little bit of digging, and we're like, right, okay, we understand why. So that was a failed website. But then what we said was, well, a lot of people will go to, for example, places like Turkey and get their teeth like straightened. I don't know if you've seen any like the celebs. Like, I think
a lot of
Simon
people and
Cowell
other
had it,
cosmetic
right?
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so like we were like, right, okay, we've got a failed website here, but let's build another dentistry website. But instead of sending the inquiries through to a UK dentist, let's find a dentist in, for example, Turkey, and do that. So we essentially built out a second website, knowing that the first website had failed completely, and we started talking to a few dentists in Turkey, and they're like, yeah, we'll take the inquiries, and it's one of the better websites now, throughout all of the digital assets. So
Why didn't
that's
the
one
UK
thing.
dentists want the leads?
So we tried for months. I personally think that because they naturally get like people coming in wanting a checkup, wanting a fill-in, they're not really that intrigued on actually spending on digital marketing.
Right. Yeah. And they're
Again,
just getting their money from the NHS and just doing a quick checkup
exactly.
on everyone,
Yeah.
and it's easy. Yeah.
So it's easy money for them, but that's like what the question before, like, what was your first website a success? Absolutely not. Probably my 98th website wasn't a success, but there's been a lot of successes and a lot of failures throughout the way. But yeah, you just need to keep going.
Okay. I might squeeze in a couple more questions at the end, but time is racing past as usual. AI. Now, at Affiliate Gathering, you made your thoughts on AI fairly clear that you weren't particularly keen on it. But now something has changed because you have a fantastic, what looks like a fantastic bit of software. I haven't yet given it a full spin yet, but I will, because I love all of these AI tools. It's automatic blog, autoblogging.ai, I should say. There is a link in the description if you want to go check it out. It's an affiliate link, so thanks very much. But just tell me a little bit, first off, tell me your thoughts on AI and the kind of success that you've had with it, and then tell us a little bit about what autoblogging.ai is.
Yeah, so this is kind of a bit weird because a month ago or 6 weeks ago, when I first met you, when I was on stage, people were talking about AI content, and I was pretty much dead against it, really. But for me to do a 180 and say, actually, I was wrong, AI content does work if you use it correctly, if you're using the right tools, and if you're picking the correct niches. So I've done a complete 180 and said, right, okay, AI content does work. And not only that, is I've actually invested into autoblogging.ai. So for me to do a complete 180 and say I was wrong, and also like invest in an AI tool, it does go to show you that it is a good AI tool. It has definitely won me over. So again, I'm not sure about your experience with AI tools. I think, to be honest, I think you've probably used a couple more AI tools more
I've
than
used
me.
a lot, and I used when they first started, when
Right,
Jasper
okay.
was one of the very first, before ChatGPT, before the multitude of AI writers now. And
Yeah.
yeah, I saw the potential in them. And I'm doing experiments now and projects, public case studies with sites, just completely AI generated content with a bit of human interaction and editing. And I've seen some good results.
Right. So when I first used it, it probably would have been around about the same time as when Jasper came out. Now, going back to the industries that we're in, finance, gambling, is like we genuinely couldn't even use it for some of our blog pages, never mind our like actual money making pages. So we were
Yeah.
like, no, AI is absolutely garbage. We're never going to use it. Now, since that, obviously ChatGPT came out, 3.5 came out, 4 came out, and all the image AI tools have came out. So it's very much advanced over the years. Now, one thing I will say is with auto blogging, I personally feel that it is the best output there is online. And I would love for someone to say, Kasra, it's absolutely not. Have you checked out Alex AI 4.8? Check it out, right? If there's somebody out there that is willing to let me test their tool out, feel free to DM me and I'll test it. And if it is actually better output, then I'll happily say that. But we have tested out every single AI tool there is, and we can't find a better output. And one thing that autoblogging.ai does that, again, I don't think any of the others do is that it also has emotional hooks in the content. So, for example, it's got like a really nice intro, so it grabs the attention of the reader, which is super important if you're doing like stuff like Azoic and Google AdSense.
Yeah.
Um, it also does some form of fact checking as well, so it doesn't just mansplain content out. So, for example, it's not just going to lie to you. Again, I personally do like to go through all the articles and stuff like that and just double check everything, make sure that everything's fact checked. To be honest with you, if it was written by a human editor, I would have somebody. I would have an editor. Essentially fact checking everything. So if there are FAQs on the page, I would say, right, okay, if it's talking about a certain car, is that information about that car correct? I personally think that's probably the most important part about AI content. If you're mass producing stuff that is completely non-factual garbage and you've just mass produced it just to win on topical authority, Google's going to look at your website and be like, nah, we're not going to index it or we're not going to rank it.
That is one of the biggest problems with AI, is the fact checking and the way sometimes that the output is quite repetitive and quite obviously AI written. Right, I'm going to check it out. I've got my account. I haven't got around to it yet, but it is on my list of AI tools to check it out. If you want to check it out before I do, then yeah, the link's below, or you could just find it over at autoblogging.ai. And of course, you're using it on your own sites now, I guess.
On certain niches, I am. On the gambling stuff, I still don't use it, mainly because of compliance. So, for example, if it's spitting out information that's even like a few days old, like for example, just to put it into perspective, Bet365, if you're doing affiliate for them, they have their own scraper looking at your website 24/7, and if you have a T's and C's policy on, say, for example, one page out of 5,000, they'll be like, why have you got that outdated T's and C's on that page? So you can't use it on certain niches. Again, that might be my OCD. There's probably some guy in this chat that's going to prove me wrong. He's going to load up auto blogging, build out a 6,000 page affiliate gambling site and outrank me. And I'm going to be like, oh, maybe I should have used auto blogging.
Yeah. Oh wow! So yeah, that's a hot thing. If they're looking at your site continuously and seeing if you slip up in any way, yeah, you've got to be so careful. And that actually brings me on to this question from Carl, with regards, kind of ties into AI. Content velocity. again, it's a kind of SEO rule that you hear banded about. I can only, like you said it earlier, you can only post one a day. Is it really a thing? It's not, is it? It's not a problem. If you want to do 100 articles a day or one article a day.
No, but one thing I will say is that matching your content velocity with your link velocity is super important. So say, for example, if you were to have a website with 100 referring domains or 100 backlinks, and then you have 100 pages, let's say, as of today, the 28th of June, and then you go and mass produce 4,000 articles in an afternoon because you're bored, and then what you will essentially realize is the index rate per page is going to go down. So when you were at 100 pages, 100 links, you could throw up a page and it might index in a couple hours. When you throw up 4,000 pages in an afternoon and you're at 4,100 pages and you still only have 1,000 backlinks, that's when you run into a few issues. So making sure that everything's just in comparison. So say, for example, if it's a graph, you kind of want your content graph going up and also your link velocity graph going up as well.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, I'm going to do 2 more questions and then thank you, Carl. He's done a super chat just to promote your thing. Perfect. Thank you, Carl. So, yeah, 2 quick questions and then I'm going to... Have we got 88 likes? You're going to need to press the like button. I think we can do that because we're up to 80 now watching. So I think you could press that like button right now and then we could do a giveaway real quick. Jay asks, how do you feel about targeting niches outside the US? Do you have sites that target niches outside of the US?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
your gambling sites in the UK, for example.
Yeah.
And all your local sites. Yeah, you don't need to worry about location. Obviously, a lot of people go for US because it's a big market, but you can run your niche site in any location. And then Kelvy here asks, does a law blog belong to the YMYL category? I'm guessing yes.
Two quick questions. First question, does a law blog belong to the YMYL?
So if you have a website about law, which would be an interesting thing to write about if you're not a lawyer, I'd have thought.
There are certain subtopics within the law that isn't YMYL. But say, for example, if it's to do with like closing a business or bankruptcy or just anything like that, then that falls under YMYL. If it's, for example, immigration law or divorce law and stuff like that, it's probably not as such. But again, if just in general, if you're talking about like EAT, and if you're in law, typically speaking, you're going to need all your EAT signals correct. So you're going to need like a proper bona fide offer on the website. And that's not just an offer box. A lot of people, when I say EAT or EEAT now, they think, oh, I just need an offer box. That's not the case. You actually need your offer mentioned on other websites. So for example, if you look at Elon Musk, he's not just mentioned on Tesla, he's mentioned on 60 million other websites. Yeah. So you very quickly, when you Google Elon Musk, you're like, right, okay, this guy knows a thing or two about electrical cars.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. His second question would be, what would you do if AdSense rejects your site?
I got asked this on Twitter like 6 hours ago, and if I'm being 100% honest, I would double check your content to make sure that there's nothing against Google guidelines or Google AdSense guidelines or Ezoic guidelines. Because I remember when I was speaking to the Ezoic guys, they were saying that like you can't have any porn or adult content on your website. Yeah. So potentially look at that. Again, I am probably not the best person to ask. Alex, you might know a little bit more on stuff.
I'd say that AdSense, especially AdSense approval, is a strange thing and completely inconsistent is the right word. So I remember I had 2 websites, and in fact, I created the site. This was ages ago. It's a video a long time ago. I created the site, and it was actually in staging, and I applied for AdSense, and they approved it on the staging domain, and that was fine, and it all worked. And then I was ready to make the site live. I'm not quite sure why I did it on the staging. I made the site live, copied it completely over to a brand new domain, reapplied for AdSense, and it was rejected. The content was exactly the same. The site was identical. So, and again, all I did was change a few words here or there and then reapplied, and then it was approved. So If you get rejected, make a few changes and keep applying, and eventually you'll get someone that's working in Google that particular morning and just ticks the box and you're in. There's no rhyme or reason. If your content is good value and not spammy, and as Kasra says, check the webmaster guidelines and all that kind of stuff. And if you're ticking all those boxes and the AdSense guidelines, you'll be fine. Okay, let's wrap this up. I can answer this question really quickly. Kasra is a big fan of tiered link building, I believe, because that was one of the tips that you gave me at Affiliate Gathering.
Yeah.
Back pain, sleep asks, is there somewhere else that, do you have a course or something on building rank and rent websites?
No, but I have a course on link building. If you look up Internet Marketing Gold, there's definitely going to be a course on there on both link building and rank and rents as well.
Okay.
I believe Mike Martin's got a course on that.
But it sounds like something you need to do. Yeah. Hello, Ariel. I met Ariel the other day. She's here in Spain, actually, for the event tomorrow.
Hello.
Kasra, Jay wants to say, mad props on your success and your clean shave. Second, what's a good monthly link budget when launching 100% AI mass content site? Bruh.
Thanks for the clean shave. So... link building budget, again, it very much depends on the industry that you're in. So back to what I was saying before, if somebody came to me in the gambling scene and said, I want to spend £500 on link building and their website's brand new, I would probably laugh. But for example, if you are a cleaning company in Bedford, £500 would probably be adequate. Again, I don't know why I'm going back to cleaning company in Bedford.
Yeah, well, you put them on the map. Because I'm from Bedford, again, that's why Bedford is coming up a lot. Nothing wrong with that. It's also the Bitcoin capital of Bedfordshire, with Peter McCormack, one of my friends, who's one of the biggest Bitcoin podcasts, and he's recently taken over the local football club, and it's all kind of crypto crazy in Bedford. So yeah, keep your eye on Bedford. Right. Don't dismiss it. Although I'm not going back there for a while. Right, let's do a giveaway. I mean, how many likes have we got? 69. Well, that is a fantastic number. Anyway, 69. So let's do that. If you want to win some WP or merch, maybe like this fantastic T-shirt that I'm wearing right now. Say something in the chat. You've got 1 minute, and I'm going to quickly do a transition, and we're going to bring up the wheel of names. Let's go. Okay. Oh, hang on. Let me. Hang on. Where's Kasra? Hey, there he is. In a circle. So this was the massive wheel of names from the other week, where I gave away a complete website. Wow, there was a lot of interest on that stream. Will you wash it first? I don't know. The T-shirt. No, it's brand new, Frank. Don't worry. It's not. Unless you want the one I'm wearing. And then it's up to you whether I wash it or not. But it's actually easier for me to ship a new one. Jonathan, have you not left yet? I think you're driving down tomorrow, right? Okay, you got 30 seconds. Click the like button as well if you haven't clicked the like already. I mean, ideally we need another 18. 15 seconds. Okay. All right, that's enough. If you're in, you're in. If you're not, you're not. Kelvy, you're in. Andy, you're in. You're all in. Let's go. Let's build up the anticipation with a little drum roll. Hey, Phil, I love that merch you're rocking there. I don't even think even I've got the Navy t-shirt. Phil, did you say that on time? You did. Okay. Yeah, if you're a WP Eagle member, then of course you get 2 entries into the draw. But it's going to be a J. I think it could be could be Kasra actually, and I'd love to see Kasra rocking a WP Eagle t-shirt. Oh no.
Not a chance.
Oh no. Is it Kelvin? I think it might be Kevin. Is it going to slide to maybe Kiritone? Kiritone. Wow, the suspense. I think I just got the wheel set on a too long a thing. Congratulations, Kiritone. I think you won recently, did you? Well, it doesn't matter if you did. You can win again. Just drop me an email to eagle@wpeagle.com and yeah, congratulations. Okay, well that brings to the end of the stream. Sad music time. Thank you, Kasra. As I said, you'll find all the information about Kasra, his Twitter, his various agencies, the new AI tool, which I will be doing a video on real soon. You'll find it all below in the description. Go check it out and be sure to follow him on Twitter. He tweets all of this good information that's inside of his head on a regular basis, so tap into that. Thanks for all your questions. Sorry if I didn't get to your question. I did try and do as many as I possibly could. Before you leave, is there any parting comment or anything you'd like to leave everyone with?
No, just take action. Taking action is massive in SEO. Make sure if there's anything that you've picked up from this blog, or if there's anybody that's just getting into SEO or wants to set up a blog, now's your opportunity to do so. So go and register that domain, host that website, and get started today.
That's the best bit of advice. And then once you do start, just to add, keep doing it on a consistent basis because things often take longer than you think. Is that right, Kasra? Would you say there isn't really a get-rich-quick scheme overnight in this game?
No, definitely. I wish there was a button where I could press and it would rank all my websites, but unfortunately there's not. So hard work.
And showing up every day and just putting the work in every single day.
Yeah.
Ariel is also very big on Twitter. Kasra only tweets 1% of what he has in his head. We need to get him in more lives to get it all out. Well, Ariel, you said you're going to be doing another stream soon, so maybe there's an opportunity there. But yeah, thank you very much for spending an hour of your precious time with us, and yeah, really appreciate it. And thanks very much. Or get him drunk. Well, that's the other option. Of course, if you come to events like Affiliate Gathering, where there is often alcohol involved, we had some fantastic nights in York. So yeah, that's also. But there's a fine balance between getting enough information out and then just everyone's too pissed to even talk about anything useful.
I often do say that the best way to get information out of me is getting me drunk. So. That's a little bit of a knowledge bomb if anybody's coming to Search Birmingham or Affiliate Gathering next year.
Yeah. The next event you're going to be at is Search Birmingham, but I don't think there's any tickets left for that one, is there?
No. So Search Birmingham, you can get regular tickets. I don't think you can get into the Mastermind. I will also be in Estonia in August. I will also be doing Las Vegas Affiliate Untapped, I believe it's called. SEO Estonia. I will also be talking at Brighton SEO, and in November I will also be talking at Chiang Mai SEO in Thailand. So a lot of talks throughout the year.
Wow, so there you go. There are plenty of opportunities there to buy Kasra a drink and tap out some of the information from his brain. All right, great. I'm going to wrap it up. Kasra, just stay on the line for 2 more seconds and we'll finish here. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining me. Great stream. What did we hit? We hit, I don't know, 90 odd at one point. I don't know. There was a lot of you on, and thanks very much for joining me, and thanks for all of the questions. I'll be back next week. See you later.